Uncle Errol McGlashan, take the stage. Let's hear it.
Might as well, because there's a mirror there. There's a mirror there. Don't waste it. Over a period of time, I built up these walls in the halls of my mind. They limit my perception of how far I can climb. These walls and I, we go way back to when I first found myself penned in a crib in a creche in my first orphanage. You know, my parents weren't dead, although they might have been. And ever since then, in one way or another, whether because I fucked up or had a run of bad luck, I gets locked up in kids' homes and hostels, detention centre and Borstal, Brixton to Belmarsh, Feltham to Wano. I've done them all. I'm not even bothered no more. Sometimes it's good to get away from it all. I'm like, lock me the fuck up and throw away the key. No, don't just throw it, grind it up into pieces, just in case someone finds it and decides to release me. That what you call freedom, you can keep it. It's not for me, just leave me be. Major or minor crime, I'll do the time. These walls and I are just fine. Better than hanging around out here getting my heart broke, where there's an attempt to smoke coke till I choke, an attempt to dissolve this lump in my throat. You call this living, I call this joke. Save your tears, I'll do a couple of years. There's no victims within these walls, just volunteers. I know it sounds senseless. Loud a lawyer, man, I ain't got no defences. I just can't see beyond these barbed wire fences. I know these walls are just a reflection of the walls I built up in my mind, built at a time when life was less kind. But sometimes a man can get a little bit pensive. I mean, after all, I've been banging about within these walls now for over half a century, and I don't know what life is all about or how it's meant to be, but in a couple of decades, I'm for the cemetery. Maybe it's time I climbed out of this mind-made penitentiary. But you see those walls, they seem so tall. I guess I could climb them, but what if I fall? But what if I fall? I guess I could climb them, but what if I fall? Oh, I gotta stop walling around down here in the mire. I thought I was safe within these walls, but these walls are a liar. So I'm kicking off cell door, I'm biting through barbed wire. No more will these walls have me stumbling around like a fumbling crowd. Oh, that stumbling sound? Rumbling sound? Prepare the ground, it's these walls, they're about to come tumbling down. Institutionalized. She comes to me. Nah, she doesn't walk, she runs to me. On sunny Sunday morning, she comes to me to snuggle up and slum with me. She sniggers every time I sniff her neck, she's just my little slumming bee. In dungaree, she comes to me, a whirl of yellow trainers, red socks and limbs like sleek mahogany. She comes to me, she sings songs to me. When she doesn't know the words, she just hums to me. And me, I hum along in harmony. She's just my little humming bee. She comes to me spontaneously, decides to practice. To the truth, I don't know what the fuck that is. Yoga, gymnastics, performing symphonies of angles and curves like some sacred geometry. Then it's breakfast in bed, she says, and we feast on the scrambled eggs and the toasted bread, what she done for me. The eggs and the bread was bought from the farmer's market with the last of her money, so she informs me. Then she finds a plastic bottle and she starts to build a bong for me. I say, whoa, what are you doing? But you see, she doesn't respond to me. She's got autonomy. She takes a deep, bubbling lungful and then passes it on to me. Well, I said she's got autonomy. I can't lock her up in a nunnery. You know what? Fuck it, it's Sunday, so we take that shit out onto the balcony where we discuss the Freemasons and the Illuminati, apparently Jay-Z and Beyonce. Conversationally, she's so profound, she speaks so eloquently, it must come from me, and we're just a couple of buzzing bees. This isn't wrong to me. Smoking a bong with my boo on the balcony. What's wrong to me is previously what love done to me. I allowed the sting to get stung in me, and in ensuing cacophony, what was once a national park, I mean, my heart became a slum to see. But then she comes to me, dropped a love bomb on me, undoing the wrongs of me. Look, I'm her biggest fan, yet she comes to me, reminding me that what's right can heal what's wrong with me. That's why she comes to me. She belongs to me, and nothing she could ever do can ever be wrong to me. And honestly, you got no idea how much shit I can rhyme with E. I said, honestly, I don't even question how long she wants to hang on to me. Right now, this is where she wants to be, at one with me. And as for me, you couldn't hold a fucking gun to me. I said, she comes to me. Could I compare her to a summer's day? Well, yeah, I could, but I'd have to include the Milky Way. I'd have to include all those other unnamed galaxies. Fuck, I'd have to change my vocabulary. I'd have to learn the language of astrology, because we're talking light years. And when she smiles, that's it. Now we're beyond galactic. Now we're in the realms of the esoteric. I'd have to learn some ancient African script, maybe some Hebrew or Tantric, just to explain it. And I, like a summer's day, can come close to a comparison, because this is a passion beyond a mere summer's day. This girl, she's an anomaly. The big bang, she's the bomb to me. I've been trying to hold it down, but shit, she's on to me. She's starting to tease me, make fun of me. She knows I'm sprung on her. In my defence, I make fun of her. A little jazz on the radio, a little salsa merengue. I pull her up to come and dance with me. I spin around twice, I pull her close to me, and then she vomits all over me. See, young girls can't take the sensei. So I dive in the shower and I leave her to clean up for me. She swears that she's never, ever, ever going to smoke again. Well, I tell you, she's got autonomy, and quite frankly, experience is a better teacher than I could ever be. So I make her a cup of blueberry tea. She starts to sip it and settle comfortably, but too soon she's got to go. She's meeting her mum at 3. She warns me not to mention her smoking. I say, do I look crazy? She says, actually, Dad, sometimes, just a little bit maybe. She says she's broke now, can she get some from me? I said, how much you need? So she says, a £1. I'll give her 40 quid, then she's gone from me. But in another couple of weeks with autonomy, she comes to me. Thank you. Yeah, so as you can see, that's about smoking weed with my daughter, but I've got to tell you now, she doesn't smoke anymore because it makes her psychotic, you know what I mean? It's like, what the hell? So don't any of you think, yeah, I'm going to have a split with my dad. Fuck that, you know what I mean? Antidepressants, all kinds of shit. I'm older, but with her arms round my shoulder, I'm bolder, so I showed her all these not quite right love poems I keep in a folder. I told her how I'm looking for redemption, and she's the representation of all the girls I've ever loved and hurt, so I owed her. Would she be the balm for my aching arms that long to enfold her? She'll just smile at me and instantly all that shit will clear from my mind, you know what I mean? It's her beam, it cuts through the grime and all my sheen starts to shine. She makes my day, which ain't no real surprise. I mean, after all, she's my sunrise. I ain't gonna lie, from the moment I seen her, I've been mesmerised. My poetry, my rhythm, my rhyme, keeping me steady. She's my lifeline. Look at me already penning love lines in attempt to define this thrill she sends up and down my spine. Her love astounds me, give my heart its beat, her arms around me, and I feel so complete, because when we lock lips, configure hips, our minds intertwine. I love that she's with me, so glad that she's mine. And yeah, I haven't yet met her, but I've been a busy bee. Spiritually collecting up nectar to mix an Alexa to put a hex on her. Pretty soon my queen bee's gonna notice me and summon me to come and sit next to her. invite me to have sex with her. Love the way I flex with her. See, I've read the Kama Sutra, but that's a load of hoopla. It's just sex concave to convex. It's not that complex. Yeah, sure, other men want to get next to her, but that's not how she flexes. She's got dignity and respect, so why would I ever get vexed with her? Nah, I want to laugh with her, bubble bath with her. I'll take her to a party. I don't really dance, but maybe she can just sway with me, spend the day with me, I don't know, go to a workshop, have a little wander around Lidl and Pound Shop. Can't you see I'm inviting you to be the very best thing that's ever happened to me? I'm pretty easy to please. All you gotta do is love me. One more. I was just saying to someone, I was just saying to Rashid, do free, get off. Do free, get off, but that applies to them, not to me.
You're Shahid, by the way, not Rashid.
Rashid, sorry. Shahid. All around me, I've got these dedicated writers. They live for those literary moments. Me, I'm a dedicated fighter, and words have always been my opponent from the very first moment. Look, in the beginning was the word, and the word had flow, knew where it had to go, guided by a primary impulse, along the path of least resistance, on a mission to illuminate the crown. It was these words that carried light at the speed of sound. And these words, when recited, vibrated, and the people who heard them elated, delighted. You know you can't fight it. When these words hit the centre, your soul gets excited. When you gasp in the dark and you grasp where the light is. Magical symbols and metaphors, opening subconscious doors. Sages from across the ages carved these words onto cave walls, and then scribed onto scrolls by ancient scholars and bards, telling stories of stars. It was these words that kept us connected with that from which we are carved. But instead of travelling direct as you'd expect, these words got intercepted by the intellect, got taken out of context and attached to a false pretext, and then analysed and summarised into grotesque, muted versions of their original self. These words stripped of their wealth and then worked into school and Bible lessons that told us lies about our blessings. In the beginning were these flaky white scratch word scrapes screeching in protest onto blackboards. Not that I ever took any notice. See, the old pedagogy got groggy. I'd fall asleep, I was that bored. Teacher talk time was my fall asleep time. Time to dream up rhymes. Because in the beginning was Dr Zeuss. He put to use a rhyme and repetition roost that first triggered the juice that whetted the appetite that I now constantly fight to satisfy. Because now it's down to me to get the right words in the right freaking order. If I'm to get out these words that I keep on bouncing around in my head, there's no way around it. I've got to keep on inking and laying down lead till I can recite these words that bring a joy that these words will never explain. So, if you find yourself at a loss for words, there's these words that offer direction. Make a selection and don't watch your saliva, you ain't going to drown. These words will revive you. Now, I know these words ain't the most eloquent. If elegance is a flight of a swan, then I'm more your freaking elephant. But you know what? I wrote these words, and I hope some of these words hit the spot. If not, I'm fucked, because these words are all I got. Well, these words and the friends I shared them with, because you're the pith. You're the core of my existence. So these words may need a little assistance, not to get caught up on the weeds and the rocks of communication. But look, with a little paddle on your part, these words can hit the mark. See, these words ain't for the head, they're for the heart. And I know they're not perfect, but at least we've made a start.